In a luxurious Seattle wedding venue, I, a quiet immigrant grandmother, was about to witness my son's special day. The celebration turned bitter when they handed me a name tag reading, "Family Maid." But I wasn't just Daniel's mother. For 35 years, I had built a property empire from nothing after crossing the border with empty pockets. When they humiliated me, they had no idea I was the one funding their entire lifestyle. With one phone call, I froze every account supporting their lavish existence. What began as a wedding day insult became my stand for dignity. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from. And if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. The sound of crystal glasses clinking together is unmistakable. It's the sound of wealth, sharp, clear, and fragile. I stand at the edge of the grand foyer, watching the servers move through the crowd with trays of champagne flutes that catch the afternoon sunlight streaming through the floor-to-ceiling windows. This mansion, with its marble floors and imported furniture, was paid for with my money. But today, I am just another body occupying space. I adjust the simple gold watch on my wrist, the one Victor gave me when we had nothing but dreams and calloused hands. It's nearly 2 o'clock. I've been standing here for 17 minutes, and not one person has acknowledged me. A server approaches, young and nervous, his white gloves still pristine. "Ma'am, would you like some champagne?" "No, gracias," I say, the Spanish slipping out even after 35 years in this country. I've found that my accent thickens when I'm nervous or angry. Today I am both. The boy nods politely and moves on. At least the help still treats me with dignity. My grandson Noah's 10th birthday celebration fills the sprawling backyard. From where I stand, I can see the ridiculous inflatable water slide that must have cost thousands, the hired magician setting up his table, and the custom cake taller than Noah himself. The children run wildly across the manicured lawn, while the adults cluster in groups, laughing too loudly at jokes that aren't funny. I look for Noah, but don't see him among the children. My fingers tighten around the small box in my pocket, a hand-carved wooden train I commissioned from an artisan in my home village. Noah used to love trains. I wonder if he still does, or if that's another thing that's changed. Mom. I turn to see Daniel approaching, my son, my only child. The boy I crossed borders for, worked 3 jobs for, built an empire for. He's 42 now, handsome in that polished way that comes from expensive haircuts and designer clothes. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. "You're late," he says in English, though he knows I prefer Spanish between us. Another small erosion of our bond. "I was told 2 o'clock, I reply. The invitation said 1. But it doesn't matter. He glances over his shoulder, checking if anyone is watching us. "Amber's been looking for you. We need help in the kitchen." I nod, though we both know there are 3 professional caterers working today. I follow him through the house. My house, essentially, as I still make the mortgage payments through a corporation Daniel thinks is investing in his business ventures. In the kitchen, Amber stands directing the staff with the precision of a general. Her blonde hair is pulled back in a sleek ponytail, her linen dress probably worth more than what I paid for my first apartment. She looks up when we enter, her smile a perfect arrangement of white teeth. "Oh, good. Daniel found you." She hands me a stack of napkins. "These need to be folded for the dessert table. The caterers don't know how to do it properly." I take the napkins without protest. This is the role I've been assigned. "And this," she says, plucking something from the counter, "is for you." She holds out a name tag, the kind with adhesive backing. It reads, "Marisol, housekeeper." I stare at it, feeling the blood rush to my face. "What is this?" Amber's smile doesn't waver. "Some of the new families don't know who's who. It's just to help them." Daniel snorts softly beside me, amused. "It's fitting, isn't it? You're just a servant here now, Mom." The room goes silent. Even the caterers pause their work, glancing awkwardly at their cutting boards. I think of all the checks I've signed. The private school tuition for Clara, the seed money for Daniel's failed startups, the down payment for this house, the landscaping, the pool, the cars in the garage. I take the name tag and adhere it to my blouse. "Of course," I say, my voice low but steady. "I know my place." Amber's smile falters for just a moment before she turns back to criticizing the appetizer arrangement. Daniel moves toward the backyard, already calling out greetings to arriving guests. I fold napkins with mechanical precision, the same way I folded hotel bed sheets during my first job in America. Each crease is perfect, my fingers remembering the movements from decades ago. I think of Victor, of how he would have handled this moment. He would have laughed it off, his dignity too solid to be shaken by such petty cruelty. But Victor has been gone for 15 years, and I've grown harder in his absence. 20 minutes later, the napkins are done, arranged in a perfect fan pattern on the dessert table. I step outside onto the patio and scan the crowd for Noah. Finally, I spot him by the gift table, surrounded by friends but looking somehow apart from them. He's grown so much since I last saw him, nearly 3 months ago. Daniel and Amber have been too busy for our usual Sunday dinners. I make my way toward him, weaving through clusters of guests who barely glance at me. When Noah sees me, his face lights up momentarily before settling into careful neutrality, a look I recognize as Amber's influence. "Abuela," he says quietly. "Feliz cumpleaños, mi amor." I bend to kiss his cheek, and he allows it, though he quickly scans the crowd to see if anyone notices. "Thanks for coming," he says, formal and polite. Too polite for a 10-year-old boy speaking to his grandmother. I pull the small box from my pocket. "This is for you. Something special." He takes it, curious despite himself. Before he can open it, Amber's voice cuts through the air. "Noah, the magician is ready. Bring your friends." Noah hesitates, the box half opened in his hands. "Go," I tell him. "We can talk later." He nods gratefully and runs off, stuffing my gift into his pocket, already forgotten. I watch him go, this boy with my eyes and Victor's smile, being shaped by forces I can no longer control. I feel a presence beside me and turn to find Clara, Daniel, and Amber's 16-year-old daughter. She's beautiful and sullen, her dark hair streaked with purple, her eyes lined heavily with black. "Nice tag," she says, nodding at my chest. "Mom's really outdone herself this time." "Clara," I acknowledge her, unsure where we stand today. My granddaughter has always been mercurial, sometimes seeking me out for comfort, other times treating me with the same dismissive attitude as her parents. "You know they only invited you because Noah threw a fit when he found out you weren't on the list." She inspects her black-painted nails. "I heard them talking about it." The information stings, but I don't let it show. "And you? Did you want me here?" She shrugs, looking past me. "Whatever. At least you're real. Everyone else here is so fake it's suffocating." Before I can respond, she drifts away, pulled into a reluctant selfie with Amber's sister. I stand alone again, the ridiculous name tag suddenly heavy on my chest. I scan the party once more. The caterers are bringing out more food. The magician is pulling colored scarves from his sleeve while the children squeal. Daniel stands with a group of men, all in the same expensive casual wear, all gesturing with the same practiced confidence. Amber flits from group to group, the perfect hostess, her laughter like wind chimes. This is the life I built. This is what my sacrifice has purchased. A place on the margins of my own family, a mockery of the respect I once commanded. I think of the trust funds in my name, the investment accounts, the properties. I think of the paperwork in my home office, the power I've maintained while allowing Daniel to believe he's succeeded on his own. The bartender catches my eye and I approach, ordering a sparkling water. As he hands it to me, a man bumps my elbow, spilling the water down the front of my blouse. "Oh, sorry," he says automatically, not really looking at me. His eyes catch on my name tag. "Could you grab some more napkins from the kitchen?" He assumes I'm staff. I don't correct him. Instead, I walk back toward the house, water soaking through to my skin. But I don't go to the kitchen. I go to the front door. Outside, my sensible sedan waits in the circular driveway, dwarfed by the luxury SUVs and sports cars of the other guests. I get in, start the engine, and pull away from the mansion that bears my fingerprints in every foundation stone. At the end of the long driveway, I stop. Through the rearview mirror, I can still see the party in full swing, oblivious to my departure. I reach up and remove the name tag from my blouse, crumpling it in my palm. "No more," I whisper to myself, to Victor's memory, to the girl who crossed the border with nothing but hope and determination. No more. I drive away, already planning my next steps. The accounts I'll freeze, the payments I'll stop, the empire I'll reclaim. They've forgotten who built their kingdom. It's time they remember. No more. I whisper again as I drive away from the mansion, the crumpled name tag still clutched in my palm. My hands tremble slightly on the steering wheel, and I realize I am both terrified and exhilarated by what I'm about to do. Instead of turning toward my modest condominium in the city, I drive to my office. The building is quiet on a Saturday afternoon, the parking garage nearly empty. I use my keycard to access the private elevator that leads directly to the top floor. My name isn't on the directory in the lobby. My name isn't on the door. I've always preferred to work in the shadows, invisible, but powerful. Perhaps that was my first mistake with Daniel, allowing him to believe that power should be flaunted, not quietly wielded. My office is simple but elegant, a desk made of reclaimed wood from my home village, a wall of windows overlooking the Seattle skyline, and a single photograph of Victor and me, taken just after we bought our first property, a rundown duplex that we renovated ourselves. In the photo, we're both covered in paint, exhausted but beaming. That duplex became 2, then 5, then a dozen. Property by property, I built my empire after Victor died. My assistant, Lucia, looks up in surprise when I enter. She's the only one who knows the full extent of my financial control over Daniel's life. Senora Vega, I didn't expect you today. Isn't it Noah's birthday? It was, I say, setting my purse down. I need you to pull all the files on the Sinclair Vega accounts. Everything. Lucia's expression shifts from surprise to concern. All of them? Even the trust funds? Everything, I confirm, removing my jacket. The water stain on my blouse has dried, leaving a faint dark patch over my heart. For the next 3 hours, Lucia and I work in focused silence. We review every account, every property, every investment tied to Daniel and Amber's name. The mortgage payments for their house, $9,800 per month, routed through one of my holding companies that Daniel believes is an angel investor in his perpetually struggling consulting firm. Clara's private school tuition, $52,000 per year, paid directly from a trust fund that Amber believes was set up by her grandfather. Noah's expensive summer camps, the country club membership, the luxury cars, the vacations, all of it flowing from my accounts through a careful network of trusts and corporations. I've spent 15 years constructing this web. It will take one afternoon to dismantle it. "Are you sure about this, Senora?" Lucia asks, as I sign the last of the documents. "It will be sudden for them." I pause, pen hovering over the paper. In my mind, I see Daniel smirk as he called me a servant. I see Amber's perfectly manicured hand offering me that degrading name tag. I see Noah stuffing my gift in his pocket, already being trained to dismiss me. "They've had years of warning," I say, signing with a firm hand. "They just weren't listening." By sunset, it's done. I've redirected funds, frozen accounts, cancelled automatic payments. I've left enough in Noah and Clara's educational trusts to finish their current academic year. I won't punish the children for their parents' sins, but everything else stops immediately. The mortgage payment due on Monday won't happen. The business loan that was scheduled to clear next week is cancelled. The platinum credit cards that Daniel and Amber wield so carelessly will be declined the next time they try to use them. I stand at my office window, watching the city lights come alive as darkness falls. I think of Victor, of what he would say about what I've done today. He was always more forgiving than me, more willing to overlook slights and injuries. But even he had his limits. "You did what you had to do," I imagine him saying, standing beside me at the window. "You gave them everything. They gave you nothing but disrespect in return." My phone begins to ring. Daniel's name flashing on the screen. It's been hours since I left the party. I wonder if he's calling to apologize, or simply to demand where I went. Either way, I'm not ready to speak to him. I silence the call. As I drive home, memories flood back. I remember Daniel as a small boy, holding my hand as we walked to the bus stop each morning. I'd drop him at school before working my shift at the hotel, then at the restaurant, then at the office building I cleaned at night. I remember his pride when we finally moved from our one-bedroom apartment to the duplex. I remember teaching him to patch drywall, to paint, to fix leaky faucets. All the skills I taught myself because we couldn't afford to hire professionals. When did that proud, hard-working boy become this entitled man who sees me as nothing but a servant? Amber's influence, certainly. But the seeds were planted before her. Perhaps in the years after Victor died, when I poured myself into work instead of motherhood. Perhaps in the way I showed love, through provision rather than presence. Perhaps in the way I kept my business dealings separate from family life, creating a mystery around our growing wealth that Daniel filled with his own narrative of personal success. My condo is dark when I arrive. I don't bother turning on most of the lights. Instead, I pour myself a small glass of the tequila I keep for special occasions, and I sit at my kitchen table with the photos I keep in a box beneath my bed. Here is Victor holding newborn Daniel, his face a mixture of terror and wonder. Here is Daniel on his 5th birthday, playing with the second-hand bicycle we'd saved for months to afford. Here is Daniel's high school graduation, Victor already gone. The space beside Daniel in the photo conspicuously empty because I was working. Here is Daniel's wedding to Amber, both of them glowing, me standing slightly apart in a dress I'd splurged on but still felt inadequate, beside Amber's family's finery. Here is Noah, as a baby. My second chance at the grandmother I never had. Here is Clara, always serious even as a toddler, watching the world with suspicious eyes. Every milestone, every memory captured but somehow incomplete. A family connected by blood and money, but little else. My phone rings again. Daniel for the 3rd time. Then immediately after, Amber. Then Clara, which surprises me. I let them all go to voicemail. Whatever crisis has erupted at the party, my absence, perhaps finally noticed, can wait until tomorrow. I take the photos and my drink onto my small balcony. Below, the city hums with Saturday night energy. Young people heading to restaurants and bars, families returning from evening activities, couples walking hand in hand. Normal life continuing while mine shifts on its axis. My phone pings with a text message. Clara. Where did you go, Abuela? Dad's freaking out and Mom is being weird. Call me. I'm surprised by her concern. Claire and I have a complicated relationship. Sometimes co-conspirators against Amber's rigid expectations, sometimes adversaries when Clara lashes out at anyone within reach. I text back, I'm fine, mija. We'll talk soon. 3 dots appear as she types, then disappear. Then, whatever. Just checking you're not dead or something dramatic. I almost smile, always the teenager, unable to show genuine emotion without coating it in sarcasm. Another ping, this time from an unknown number. I open it and find a photo of Noah, sitting alone amid discarded gift wrap and deflated balloons, my small box open in his hands. His face is caught in a moment of delight as he examines the wooden train. The message below reads, he loves it. Sorry you left early. Javier, the magician. Now I do smile. Even at parties for the wealthy, there are always people who see what others miss. I send a thank you to Javier and save the photo of Noah, a small moment of connection amid the wreckage I've just created. My glass is empty now, and the night air has grown chilly. I go back inside, placing the photos carefully in their box. Tomorrow will bring chaos. Daniel will discover the stopped payments, the frozen accounts, the cancelled credit cards. Amber will panic about their social standing. Clara will rage against any perceived injustice. Noah will be confused and afraid. And I will stand firm in my decision. No more silent sacrifice. No more invisible support without respect. No more allowing my family to forget who built the ground beneath their feet. As I prepare for bed, my phone lights up with yet another call, this time from a number I don't recognize. Normally I wouldn't answer, but something compels me to. Hello? Marisol? It's Elena, from next door to Daniel and Amber. Elena, a kind woman who sometimes chats with me when I visit. One of the few people at that party who would have greeted me had our paths crossed. Yes, Elena. Is everything all right? I'm not sure. I'm driving Noah to your place. He asked me to bring him to you. He packed a little backpack and everything. I hope that's okay. Her voice is uncertain. Daniel and Amber are having some kind of argument, and Noah came to our house asking if I could drive him to Abuela's house. My heart races. Of course. I'll text you my address. We'll be there in about 30 minutes. After we hang up, I stand frozen in my bedroom. Noah is coming here? Already the ripples of my decision are spreading outward, affecting more than just Daniel and Amber. I move quickly then, preparing the small guest room for Noah. Fresh sheets on the bed, a nightlight plugged into the wall, a stuffed bear that I keep for when my neighbor's grandchildren visit. I check my appearance in the mirror and realize I'm still wearing the water-stained blouse from the party. I change into a comfortable sweater and jeans, brush my hair, and apply a touch of lipstick. Then I wait by the window, watching for Elena's car, wondering what exactly has happened in the few hours since I left the party. Wondering what Noah has witnessed, what he understands. Wondering if, in trying to reclaim my dignity, I've just shattered whatever remaining bonds hold our family together. The headlights of Elena's SUV sweep across my living room walls as she pulls into the visitor parking spot below my balcony, I take a deep breath and move to the door, my heart pounding with a strange mixture of anticipation and dread. The elevator chimes down the hall, and then Noah is there, a small backpack clutched in one hand and my wooden train in the other. Elena stands behind him, her expression apologetic. "Abuela," Noah says, his voice wobbling slightly. He's still wearing his birthday party clothes, khaki shorts and a blue button-down shirt that's become untucked and wrinkled. "Mi amor," I respond, opening my arms. To my surprise, he rushes into them, pressing his face against my sweater. I feel his small body trembling. Over his head, I mouth, "Thank you," to Elena. She nods, mouthing back, "I'll call tomorrow," before retreating to the elevator. I guide Noah inside and close the door. He pulls away from me but stays close, his eyes darting around my condo. He's been here before, but not often, and not recently. "Are you hungry?" I ask, switching to Spanish as I often do in moments of emotion. "I can make you something." He shakes his head, still clutching the wooden train. "No tengo hambre," he replies in his halting Spanish, then switches back to English. "But I'm thirsty." In the kitchen, I pour him a glass of the horchata I'd made yesterday, a recipe from my mother that I've never written down. Noah sits at my small dining table, his legs swinging beneath his chair. He sips the drink, leaving a white mustache on his upper lip that he wipes away with the back of his hand. "Do you want to tell me what happened?" I ask gently. Noah stares into his glass. "Dad and Mom started fighting after you left. Dad was mad that you disappeared. He kept calling you, but you didn't answer." He glances up at me accusingly. "Then someone from the bank called, and Dad got really upset. He and Mom went into his office, but I could hear them yelling." I sit across from him, my hands folded on the table. "I'm sorry you had to hear that. Dad said some bad words about you." Noah's voice drops to a whisper. "Really bad words." I nod, unsurprised but still stung. Adults sometimes say things they don't mean when they're upset. Noah's fingers trace the outline of the wooden train. "Is it true that you've been paying for our house and all our stuff?" The question catches me off guard. I hadn't expected the financial details to be aired so explicitly in front of the children. "It's complicated, Noah." That's what adults always say when they don't want to explain. His eyes, so like Victor's, challenge me. "I'm not a baby anymore. I'm 10. A smile tugs at my lips despite the heaviness in my chest. "No, you're not a baby. You're right." I take a deep breath. "Yes, I've been helping your mom and dad with money for a long time. For your house, for school, for many things. And now you stopped." His perception startles me. "That's why they're fighting." I consider how to answer, how much a 10-year-old can or should understand about adult conflicts and family dynamics. "I decided it was time for your parents to be more independent," I say finally. Noah frowns, processing this. "Like when you make me do my own homework, instead of helping me." "Something like that, yes." He nods slowly, then asks the question I've been dreading. "Why did you leave my party?" The memory of the name tag burns in my mind. I could tell him the truth, that his father and mother humiliated me in front of strangers. But what would that accomplish beyond poisoning his relationship with his parents? "I felt that it was best if I stepped away for a while," I say carefully. "Sometimes adults need space from each other, just like how you sometimes need space from your sister." Noah wrinkles his nose at the mention of Clara. "She didn't even come to my party. She said it was lame and went to the mall with her friends." This surprises me. Clara's absence would have infuriated Amber, who is obsessed with presenting the image of a perfect family. Did that make you sad? I ask. Noah shrugs. Not really. Clara's always mean to me now. She used to be nice, but since she started high school, she hates everything. He yawns suddenly, the events of the day catching up with him. Come, I say, standing. I've prepared a room for you. You can rest, and tomorrow we'll figure things out. I show him to the guest room, help him unpack his meager belongings. A change of clothes, a toothbrush, his handheld video game, and a stuffed dinosaur he probably packed secretly, afraid it would seem too childish. I tuck him in, something I haven't done since he was a toddler, and he lets me, something he probably wouldn't allow at home. Abuela, he says as I turn to leave. Can I stay here for a while? Until Mom and Dad stop fighting. My throat tightens. We'll talk to your parents tomorrow, but yes, you can stay tonight. He nods, already drifting toward sleep. I like it here. It's quiet. And you don't yell. I close his door part way, leaving it cracked so a sliver of light from the hallway can enter. Then I go to my own room and finally check my phone. 7 missed calls from Daniel, 3 from Amber, 2 from Clara, a dozen text messages, ranging from concerned to furious. The most recent from Daniel, sent just 15 minutes ago. Noah is missing. Have you seen him? If this is some kind of twisted revenge, I swear to God, Mom. I text back, Noah is with me. He's safe. We'll talk tomorrow. Daniel's response is immediate. Put him on the phone now. He's sleeping. I won't wake him. I'm coming to get him. It's nearly midnight. He's exhausted and upset. Let him sleep. Come tomorrow at 10. A long pause, then. This isn't over. I don't respond. Instead, I send a quick message to Elena, thanking her for bringing Noah and assuring her that he's fine. Then I silence my phone and place it on my nightstand. Sleep eludes me. I lie awake, replaying the day's events, wondering if I've gone too far too fast. I had intended my financial withdrawal to be a statement, a reclaiming of power and dignity. I hadn't anticipated Noah getting caught in the crossfire so immediately, so directly. Around 2 in the morning, I hear a small sound from the hallway. I sit up to find Noah standing in my doorway, the stuffed dinosaur clutched to his chest. I had a bad dream, he says, his voice small in the darkness. Without a word, I lift the covers. He climbs in beside me, his small body curling against mine like he did as a toddler. He smells of birthday cake and the citrus shampoo Amber insists on. What was your dream about? I ask softly. We were all on a boat, but it was sinking. He whispers, and everyone was grabbing life jackets, but there weren't enough. Dad took mine and gave it to Mom. He pauses. But you gave me yours. I stroke his hair, feeling the weight of his words. I would always give you mine, mi amor, always. He falls asleep quickly, his breathing deep and even. I lie awake beside him, thinking of boats and life jackets and the instinct to save those we love, even at our own expense. Morning comes too soon, sunlight streaming through. Blinds I forgot to close. Noah is still asleep beside me, one arm flung over his dinosaur. I slip out of bed quietly and go to the kitchen to prepare breakfast. The simple chilaquiles that were Daniel's favorite as a boy. The familiar motions of cooking center me, frying tortilla wedges until they're crisp, simmering them in homemade salsa, topping the mixture with crema, queso fresco, and thinly sliced radishes. It's humble food, peasant food from my childhood, transformed into comfort with a few careful additions. I'm just finishing when Noah appears, hair tousled, eyes still heavy with sleep. That smells good, he says, climbing onto a stool at the counter. I serve him a plate and watch as he takes a tentative bite, then a larger one. "This is way better than the fancy breakfast Mum makes," he says around a mouthful. "Chew with your mouth closed," I remind him automatically, the grandmother in me surfacing. We eat together in comfortable silence. As I'm clearing the plates, my phone buzzes. Daniel. We're on our way. I check the time. 9:30. Earlier than agreed, but not unexpected. Daniel has always preferred to arrive on his terms, not others. "Your parents will be here soon," I tell Noah, who's been exploring my small balcony garden. His face falls. "Do I have to go home?" "For now, yes," I answer honestly. "But we'll talk about when you can visit again." He nods, resigned but unhappy. We spend the next 20 minutes gathering his things, and I help him fold his clothes neatly into his backpack. He tucks the wooden train carefully on top. The sharp rap on my door comes at exactly 9:47. I open it to find Daniel standing there, his face tight with anger. Amber hovers behind him, immaculate even in crisis, not a hair out of place. "Noah," Daniel says, his voice softer than I expected. "Get your things. We're going home." Noah appears beside me, backpack already on. He looks up at me, then at his father, a child caught between warring adults. "Go on," I tell him gently. "I'll see you soon." He hugs me quickly, fiercely, then steps into the hallway. Daniel places a hand on his shoulder and bends down to speak in his ear. "Go wait by the elevator with Mom for a minute. I need to talk to Abuela." Noah hesitates, glancing back at me. "It's okay," I assure him. "Go with your mother." Once Noah and Amber are by the elevators, Daniel turns to me, his voice low but vibrating with fury. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" "I think the better question is what you think you've been doing," I reply, keeping my voice calm. "For years." "Is this about that stupid name tag?" "Jesus, Mom, it was a joke." "Was it?" I meet his gaze steadily. "It didn't feel like one." "So you decided to pull all financial support, cancel our mortgage payment, freeze the business accounts." His voice rises slightly before he catches himself, glancing down the hall to where Noah and Amber wait. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" "I know exactly what I've done," I say. "I've stopped enabling behavior that has become intolerable." Daniel's laugh is harsh. "Intolerable?" "You're the one who's become impossible to deal with. You judge everything we do, how we raise our kids, how we live our lives. You've never approved of Amber, never respected my business decisions." "I've respected them enough to fund them," I interrupt. "Every failed venture, every grand idea that fizzled after 6 months. I've paid for all of it without complaint." He flinches as if struck. "That's not true. I built my business myself." "With whose money, Daniel? Who paid for your MBA? Who covered the startup costs for each new iteration of your consulting firm? Who kept paying your mortgage when clients didn't materialize?" His face flushes dark red. "I would have succeeded if you'd just given me time. I gave you 15 years, I say quietly, and respect. All I asked for in return was respect." Daniel's jaw works as he struggles for words. Finally, he says, "Noah stays out of this. Whatever issues you have with me and Amber, you leave my son alone." "I didn't bring Noah into this. He came to me because you and Amber were fighting so badly, it frightened him." Guilt flashes across Daniel's face, quickly replaced by defiance. "He's a child. He doesn't understand adult problems." "He understands more than you think," I say. "Children always do." Daniel's phone buzzes in his pocket. He checks it and swears under his breath. "That's my business partner." Another account is frozen. I have to deal with this. He looks at me, a mixture of anger and something that might be fear in his eyes. This isn't over, Mom. Not by a long shot. No, I agree. It's only beginning. He turns to leave, then pauses. Clara's asking about you. I don't know why she suddenly cares, but she does. Tell her she can call me anytime, I say. Daniel shakes his head. She's grounded. No phone. Came home drunk from the mall yesterday with those friends I told her to stay away from. This explains her absence from Noah's party. Perhaps she needs someone to talk to. She has parents, Daniel snaps. We don't need your interference there too. He walks away, joining Amber and Noah by the elevator. As the doors open, Noah turns and waves at me. A small, sad gesture that breaks my heart a little. I wave back, forcing a smile I don't feel. When they're gone, I close my door and lean against it, suddenly exhausted. The confrontation with Daniel has drained me, but it's also clarified something. This isn't just about money or respect anymore. It's about the fractures in our family that have been papered over with wealth and pretense for too long. I go to my bedroom and open the box of photos again, sifting through them until I find one from nearly 30 years ago. Victor, Daniel, and me at the beach. Daniel about 5 years old, building a sandcastle with fierce concentration, while Victor and I smile at the camera. We were poor then, living paycheck to paycheck, but there was a solidity to our family that has been lost in the pursuit of wealth and status. My phone rings, startling me from my reverie. It's a number I don't recognize. Hello? Abuela? It's Clara. Her voice is hesitant, unusual for my typically brash granddaughter. I'm at Elena's house. They let me use their phone. Clara, are you all right? No, she says, and I hear the break in her voice. Everything's falling apart, and it's all so stupid. Dad's freaking out about money. Mom's having some kind of meltdown about the country club membership being canceled, and I needed to get out of there. Did you walk to Elena's? I ask, concerned. Their house is at least a mile from Elena's. Yeah. Look, can you come get me? I know I'm grounded or whatever, but I can't be in that house right now. I glance at the clock. It's just past 10:30 a.m. I'll be there in 40 minutes. Can you wait? Yeah. Thanks, Abuela. As I hang up, I realize that what started as a simple act of financial withdrawal has escalated into something far more consequential. Noah seeking refuge with me in the night. Clara calling from a neighbor's house. The children, always the most vulnerable, are being tossed in the waves of adult conflict. I grab my keys and my purse, mentally preparing for another confrontation. But beneath the dread, there's a flicker of something else. Hope, perhaps. Hope that from this necessary destruction might come a more honest, more respectful reconstruction of our family. As I drive toward the mansion I've paid for but never felt welcome in, I wonder what Victor would say about all this. Would he understand my actions? Or would he counsel patience and forgiveness? Both, I imagine him saying from the passenger seat beside me. Stand your ground, Mari. But remember what matters most. What matters most. The question hangs in the air as I drive, as I prepare to collect my granddaughter from the ruins of the life I helped build, then helped dismantle. Elena opens the door before I can even knock, her expression a mixture of concern and relief. Marisol, thank goodness. Come in, come in. She ushers me inside with the warm familiarity of the Mexican hospitality we both grew up with, though we met only a few years ago when she and her husband moved next door to Daniel. Gracias por cuidar de mi nieta, I say, slipping into Spanish as I often do with Elena. De nada. She showed up at my door looking like she'd seen a ghost. Poor girl. Elena lowers her voice. What's happening over there? First, Noah wants to escape in the middle of his own birthday. Then Clara shows up this morning. Is everything okay with Daniel and Amber? I hesitate, unwilling to air family troubles, but needing an ally. It's complicated. Financial issues, mostly. Elena's eyes widen slightly. Ah, I see. Her tone suggests she suspected as much. The cracks in Daniel and Amber's facade of success must have been visible to their observant neighbor. Clara emerges from the kitchen, a mug of something steaming in her hands. She looks younger than her 16 years in sweatpants and a faded t-shirt, her face scrubbed clean of makeup, the purple streaks in her hair fading to a dull lavender. Hey, she says, trying for nonchalance but not quite achieving it. Her eyes are red-rimmed from crying. Hello, mija. I open my arms, unsure if she'll accept the embrace. To my surprise, she steps into it, careful not to spill her drink. My husband is out playing golf, Elena says tactfully. Take as much time as you need. Clara knows where the spare key is if you ever need it again. This last part is directed at my granddaughter, a subtle message that she has a safe haven if needed. Once in the car, Clara is quiet, staring out the window as we drive away from the mansion-lined streets of her neighborhood. Are we going to your place? She finally asks. Yes. Unless you want to go somewhere else? She shakes her head. Your place is fine. Then, after a moment, Dad's going to freak when he realizes I left. I'll call him when we get home. He took my phone and my laptop and basically locked me in my room last night. Her voice rises with indignation. All because I had a few beers with my friends, like he never drank in high school. I keep my eyes on the road, carefully neutral. You're underage, Clara. That's not the point. She slouches lower in her seat. They can't just keep me prisoner because they're having some kind of financial meltdown. Is that what's happening? A meltdown? Clara turns to look at me directly, her eyes narrowing. Don't act like you don't know what's going on. Dad says you're the one who cut everything off. There's accusation in her voice, but curiosity too. Is it true? Was you like bankrolling our entire life or something? I consider deflecting, as I partially did with Noah, but Clara is older, sharper. She deserves more of the truth. Not your entire life, I say carefully. But yes, I've been providing significant financial support to your family for many years. And now you're not. It's not a question. Because of some fight at Noah's party? The party was just the tipping point, Clara. I sigh, feeling the weight of years of silent resentment. It's been building for a long time. So you just decided to pull the rug out from under everyone, with no warning. Her accusation stings because there's truth in it. I did act suddenly, rashly perhaps, but the alternative was to continue as I had been. Invisible support without acknowledgement, giving without receiving even basic respect in return. There have been warnings, I say. Your father chose not to see them. Clara falls silent again, processing this. We drive the rest of the way to my condo without speaking, but it's not an angry silence. It's contemplative, each of us lost in our own thoughts. When we arrive, I show Clara to my small second bedroom, the same one Noah occupied just hours earlier. You can stay as long as you need to, I tell her, but I do need to let your parents know you're here. Whatever, she says with a shrug that doesn't quite hide her relief. I'm going to take a shower. While Clara showers, I call Daniel. He answers on the first ring, his voice tight with stress. Mom? Have you seen Clara? She's gone and she's with me. I interrupt. She's safe. The explosive string of profanity that follows makes me hold the phone away from my ear. When he pauses for breath, I speak calmly. Daniel, listen to me. Clara needed some space. She's upset, but she's safe. She can stay with me for a few days while you and Amber sort things out. Sort things out? He sputters. You've destroyed everything. The bank is threatening foreclosure. My business partner is threatening to sue me. Amber's father called, demanding to know why her credit cards were declined at Nordstrom. And now you've taken both my children? I haven't taken anyone, I say firmly. Noah came to me last night because your fighting frightened him. Clara came to me today because she felt trapped. I'm providing a safe place for my grandchildren, while you figure out what your next steps will be. Next steps? His laugh is bitter. There are no next steps, Mom. You've made sure of that. Unless you reverse what you've done, everything we've built is gone. Everything I've built, you mean? I correct him gently. Everything I paid for. The silence that follows is heavy with realization. When he speaks again, his voice is quieter, threaded with a desperation I've never heard from my son before. Please, Mom. Whatever I did, whatever you think I did, it can't be worth destroying our lives over. For a moment I waver, the maternal instinct to protect, to make everything better for my child, surges within me. But then I remember the name tag, the smirk, the years of diminishment and disrespect. I'm not destroying anything, Daniel. I'm simply stopping the artificial support that has allowed you to live beyond your means and treat me as less than I am. This is about your pride? Seriously? His voice rises again. You'd let us lose everything over your wounded ego? No, Daniel. I keep my voice steady. This is about respect, about acknowledging the truth of who built what in this family, about treating me as your mother, not your servant. Fine, he snaps. You have my respect. You have my acknowledgement. You want me to announce it to the world? I will. Just turn the money back on. It's not that simple, and we both know it. I sigh. Real respect isn't demanded or coerced. It's earned and freely given. So what do you want from me? The question is raw, pained. I want you to step up, to take responsibility, to build something real, not with my money, but with your own work. I pause. And I want you to see me, really see me, as a person worthy of your genuine respect. There's a long silence. Then, I need to go. Amber's having some kind of breakdown. Tell Clara ... He stops, seemingly at a loss. Just tell her we love her. The call ends, and I stand in my kitchen, phone still in hand, wondering if I've pushed too hard, if the lesson I'm trying to teach is worth the pain it's causing. Clara emerges from the bathroom wrapped in a towel, her wet hair dripping onto the hardwood floor. Do you have something I can wear? All my stuff is at home. I find her a t-shirt and sweatpants that are too large, but will serve. While she dresses, I make us lunch, simple ham and cheese sandwiches, nothing like the elaborate meals Amber serves. Dad called, Clara asks as we eat. I nod. He knows you're safe. He asked me to tell you they love you. She snorts. Right. That's why they locked me in my room. Parents make mistakes, I say, thinking of my own, especially when they're afraid. What are they afraid of? She asks, suddenly serious. Dad's always talking about how successful he is, how his business is killing it. Was that all lies? I choose my words carefully. Not lies, exactly. Your father has worked hard, but he's had advantages he doesn't acknowledge. Your money? Yes. Clara takes a bite of her sandwich, chewing thoughtfully. So now what? We lose the house. I have to change schools. Noah can't go to his fancy summer camp. I don't know, I admit. That depends on your father, on the choices he makes now. You could fix it, though, if you wanted to. I could, I agree. But sometimes helping isn't actually helping, Clara. Sometimes it's just enabling behaviors that aren't healthy. She rolls her eyes. You sound like my guidance counselor talking about codependency. I smile despite myself. Maybe your guidance counselor is smart. We spend the afternoon in surprisingly comfortable companionship. Clara helps me tend my small balcony garden. I teach her how to deadhead the marigolds, how to check the soil moisture, how to prune the basil to encourage fuller growth. She asks questions, actually listens to my answers. It's the longest conversation we've had in years. Later, she finds the box of family photos I'd left out and sits cross-legged on the floor, going through them one by one. I join her, telling stories about the moments captured. Victor teaching Daniel to ride a bike. Daniel's 8th grade science fair project that won first place. Clara's birth when she arrived 3 weeks early and fierce as a little lion. I don't remember Abuelo at all, Clara says, studying a photo of Victor holding her as an infant. You were very young when he died, I tell her. But he adored you. He used to carry you around the house, singing old Mexican lullabies, even when you were asleep. She smiles faintly, tracing Victor's face with her fingertip. Dad never talks about him. It was hard for your father when Victor died. He was just starting college. They were very close. I think back to those painful days, how Daniel had thrown himself into his studies rather than face his grief, how I had done the same with work. Is that when you started giving Dad money? After Abuelo died? The question surprises me with its insight. Yes, in many ways. I paid for him to finish college, then for his MBA. I invested in his first business venture. It seemed the right thing to do, to make sure Victor's son had every opportunity. But Dad acts like he did it all himself. That's often easier than acknowledging how much help we've received. Clara continues through the photos, pausing at one of Daniel and Amber on their wedding day. Were you happy when Dad married Mom? I hesitate, unsure how to answer truthfully without speaking ill of her mother. I wanted your father to be happy, I say finally. Amber made him happy. Clara's gaze is too perceptive. That's not the same thing. No, I agree, it's not. I heard them fighting last night, she says, setting the photos aside. Mom was screaming that Dad had ruined everything, that she never would have married him if she'd known he wasn't really successful. Clara's voice is carefully neutral, but I can see the hurt beneath. Is that why you don't like her? Because she married Dad for his money? I never said I didn't like your mother, I counter gently. You didn't have to. Clara picks up another photo, this one of her and Noah as small children, building a sandcastle at the beach. It's obvious. You're always so formal with her, so careful. She's right, of course. Amber and I have never warmed to each other. Our relationship a series of carefully negotiated truces for Daniel's sake. But I'm surprised Clara noticed that she saw past the polite facades we both maintained. Your mother and I are very different people, I say, which is true but not the whole truth. She's fake, Clara states bluntly. Everything about her is fake. Her smile, her laugh, The way she pretends to care about her charities. She looks up at me, eyes suddenly fierce. Is that why you cut off the money? Because you think she's a gold digger? No, Clara. I reach out to touch her hand. This isn't about punishing your mother, or you, or Noah. It's about respect, she finishes for me. Dad said you went ballistic because of some stupid name tag at Noah's party. I wince at the characterization. It wasn't just the name tag, it was how to explain decades of small humiliations, of being treated as an ATM rather than a mother, of watching my son become someone who could publicly mock me. It was the final straw in a long pattern, I say finally. Clara studies me, her expression unreadable. Then she nods once, decisively. I get it, she says. It's like when Brittany Schwartz kept copying my homework and taking credit for group projects, but still talk shit about me behind my back. One day I just snapped and told everyone what she was doing. The comparison makes me smile despite myself. Something like that, yes? So you basically called out Dad and Mom for being fake and taking advantage of you. In a manner of speaking. Clara absorbs this, then asks the question I've been asking myself since yesterday. What happens now? I look at the photos spread around us, the visual timeline of our family's journey. I don't know exactly, I admit, but I hope something more honest, something more real. My phone buzzes with a text from Daniel. We need to talk, in person, tomorrow morning. I show it to Clara. Your father wants to meet tomorrow. Are you going to give in? She asks, surprisingly neutral. No, I say, certain of this at least, but I'm willing to listen. Clara nods, seeming satisfied with this answer. Good. We order pizza for dinner, a rare indulgence for me but Clara's favorite. As we eat, she tells me about school, about the writing class she loves, and the math teacher she can't stand. She talks about her friends, about the boy she might like but isn't sure about yet. Normal teenage concerns that exist alongside the family drama unfolding around her. Later, as I prepare for bed, I find Clara standing in the doorway of my bedroom, looking uncomfortable but determined. I need to tell you something, she says. About what happened at the mall yesterday. I sit on the edge of my bed, patting the space beside me. She joins me, sitting a careful distance away. I wasn't just drinking with my friends, she begins, staring at her hands. I stole something. From Nordstrom. A bracelet. Mom tried to buy me one for my birthday, but her card got declined and she made this huge scene and it was so embarrassing. She takes a shuddering breath. So I went back with my friends and took it. That's when security caught us. I'm surprised not by the confession, but by the fact that she's chosen to share it with me. Did they call the police? Number. They called Mom. She paid them off, I think. But then when we got home, she and Dad were so angry. They locked me in my room and took all my stuff. Clara looks up at me, eyes wet with tears. I wasn't going to tell you. I thought you'd be disappointed in me. I take her hand. I am disappointed in the choice you made, Clara. Stealing is wrong, no matter the circumstances. I squeeze her fingers gently. But I'm proud of you for telling me the truth. I'll pay them back, she says quickly. I have some birthday money saved up. It's not enough, but we'll figure it out, I assure her. Together. She nods, relief evident in the loosening of her shoulders. Thanks, Abuela. As she turns to leave, I call after her. Clara, why did you tell me? You could have kept it secret. She pauses in the doorway. Because you're being honest with everyone, even when it's hard. It made me think maybe I should try that too. After she's gone, I sit for a long time on the edge of my bed, thinking about honesty and its cost, about the unexpected ways in which my actions are rippling through our family. Tomorrow I will face Daniel, and the conversation will be difficult, painful even, but tonight, in this small moment of truth with Clara, I find hope that perhaps something better might emerge from the wreckage of what came before. In the quiet of my bedroom, I imagine Victor beside me, his presence a comfort even after all these years. "You're doing the right thing, Mari," I hear him say. "It's never too late to demand the respect you deserve." I hope he's right, for all our sakes. I hope he's right. I arrive at the cafe 10 minutes early, choosing a corner table that offers some privacy while still being in a public place. Daniel had suggested meeting at his house, but I preferred neutral ground for this conversation. The morning air is crisp, carrying the scent of coffee and freshly baked pastries. I order a simple black coffee and wait, watching the door. Clara is still asleep in my condo, exhausted from the emotional upheaval of the past 2 days. Daniel arrives exactly on time, alone. I'd half expected Amber to accompany him, to present a united front. His appearance shocks me. He looks like he hasn't slept, his usually immaculate clothes wrinkled, his eyes bloodshot. He slides into the chair across from me without greeting. "Where's Clara?" he asks immediately. "Still sleeping. She's safe, Daniel. She needed space." He nods distractedly, drumming his fingers on the table. The waitress approaches and he orders an espresso, his voice clipped. When we're alone again, he takes a deep breath. "I've spent the last 2 days trying to understand why you would do this to us." His tone is controlled, but I can hear the strain beneath. "I keep coming back to that stupid name tag. Was it really worth destroying our lives over?" "The name tag was a symptom, not the cause," I reply quietly. "And I haven't destroyed anything, Daniel. I've simply stopped artificially supporting a lifestyle you haven't earned." His jaw tightens. "So this is punishment. Number. It's a correction." I take a sip of my coffee, gathering my thoughts. "When was the last time you thanked me for anything I've done for you? When was the last time you acknowledged that your business, your house, your children's education, all of it exists because of my support?" "I didn't realize I needed to grovel for your help," he mutters. "Gratitude isn't groveling, Hijo. It's basic respect." The waitress returns with his espresso. He downs it in one swallow, grimacing at the bitterness. "Fine," he says when she leaves. "I'm grateful. I've always been grateful. I just didn't think I needed to say it every day. Not every day, but ever would have been nice." I lean forward. "Daniel, this isn't just about money. It's about how you see me, how you treat me. That name tag. You called me a servant in my own family." Something flickers across his face. Shame, perhaps. "It was a joke." "It wasn't funny." He sighs, running a hand through his disheveled hair. "What do you want from me, Mom? An apology? Fine, I'm sorry. The tag was insensitive. I shouldn't have said what I did, but was it worth all this?" He gestures vaguely, encompassing the wreckage of his finances, his children's distress, his wife's meltdown. "What I want is for you to see me, Daniel. Really see me. Not as a walking checkbook, not as the help, but as your mother. A woman who sacrificed everything to give you opportunities I never had." He looks away. "I see you." "Do you? Because from where I sit, you've spent years taking what I give while treating me like an inconvenience, an embarrassment." The hurt I've carried for so long seeps into my voice. "Do you know what Amber said to me last Christmas? That my accent was charming, But perhaps I shouldn't speak so much at the country club dinner. Daniel winces. She didn't mean... She meant exactly what she said. And you said nothing. Just like you say nothing every time she corrects my English or mocks my cooking or schedules family events when she knows I'm working. That's not fair. Amber has tried to include you. On her terms, as a quaint immigrant success story to share with her friends, not as the matriarch of this family who deserves respect. Daniel is silent for a long moment. When he speaks again, his voice is quieter. The bank called yesterday. If we can't make the mortgage payment by the end of the week, they'll start foreclosure proceedings. I know. My business partner is pulling out. Investors are getting nervous. I expected as much. He meets my eyes, and for the first time, I see real fear there. I can't fix this, Mom. Not without your help. Yes, you can, I tell him. Maybe not at the level you're accustomed to, but you can rebuild. You're smart, Daniel. You're capable. You've just never had to be self-sufficient because I made sure you didn't have to struggle like I did. And now you want me to struggle? Is that it? Some kind of character-building exercise? I want you to stand on your own 2 feet, to build something real, based on your own work, not my money. He laughs bitterly. At 42? With a family to support and a mortgage I can't pay? You have options. Sell the house, move somewhere smaller, take a job with someone else's firm while you rebuild your own. Cut back on luxuries. Amber will never agree to that. The desperation in his voice is painful to hear. She married me because of what I could provide. If that's gone. The admission hangs between us, confirmation of what I've suspected for years about their marriage. Then perhaps you'll discover if she married you or your lifestyle, I say gently. Daniel flinches as if struck. That's cruel, Mom. It's honest. Something our family hasn't been for a very long time. We sit in silence for several minutes, each lost in our own thoughts. Finally, Daniel sighs. Noah's been asking for you. He wanted to bring you that wooden train to show you he fixed the little smokestack that broke off. His voice softens. He loves that thing. Hasn't let it out of his sight. My heart aches at the image. He can bring it to me anytime. And Clara? When is she coming home? When she's ready? I meet his gaze steadily. She needs time, Daniel. She told me about the shoplifting. He grimaces. We handled that badly. Amber and I we weren't in a good place when it happened. The credit card getting declined was just the beginning. He looks down at his empty cup. Everything's unraveling so fast. For the first time, I feel a twinge of doubt about my actions. The pain I see in my son is real, as is his fear for his family's future. But beneath that, I also see something I haven't seen in years. Vulnerability, humility, the beginning perhaps of honesty. I can't go back to the way things were, I tell him. But I'm willing to help you transition to something more sustainable, more real. Hope flickers in his eyes. What does that mean, exactly? It means I'll help with Clara and Noah's education. I'll help you find a reasonable place to live. I'll even provide a small loan to keep your business afloat while you restructure it. I pause, making sure he understands. But as loans, Daniel, not gifts, with terms and expectations, and with the understanding that how you treat me, how your whole family treats me, will change. He nods slowly. That's fair. And one more thing. I reach across the table, taking his hand. I want us to be a family again, a real one. Sunday dinners, honest conversations. No more pretending. Daniel's fingers tighten around mine, and I see the shadow of the boy he once was. the one who held my hand crossing streets, who brought me dandelions picked from the yard, who cried against my shoulder when Victor died. "I've been awful to you," he says quietly. "Yes," I agree. "But you're still my son." When Daniel leaves, promising to talk to Amber and call me later, I remain at the cafe, ordering a second coffee and a pastry I don't really want. I feel drained, but also lighter, as if a burden I've carried for years has shifted, not gone, but redistributed. My phone buzzes with a text from Clara. Noah just called. Says he misses me. And you. Can he come over? I smile, typing back. Of course. Tell him to bring his train. The future is uncertain. Daniel and Amber's marriage may not survive this reckoning. The lifestyle they've built certainly won't. There will be more difficult conversations, more painful adjustments. But as I walk back to my car, I feel something I haven't felt in a long time. Hope that whatever emerges from this necessary destruction will be built on something stronger than money. Something like respect, something like love. 6 months can change everything. Or nothing. Or something in between. I stand in my kitchen chopping vegetables for Sunday dinner. Through the open balcony door comes the sound of Clara's laughter, a rare and precious thing these days. She's helping Noah set up the small folding table where we'll eat, the one I bought when these Sunday gatherings became regular again. My condo is too small for a proper dining room, but we make do. We always have. The doorbell rings and I wipe my hands on a towel. Clara, can you get that? It should be your father? She appears in the doorway, eyebrow raised. Just Dad? Not Mom? I shrug. We'll see. Clara opens the door, and Daniel enters alone, carrying a bottle of wine and a bakery box. He kisses his daughter's cheek, then comes to me, embracing me with genuine warmth. Smells amazing in here, Mom. What are you making? Chiles rellenos, your favorite. I take the wine, examining the label. This is a good one. Special occasion. His smile is tentative. Maybe. We'll see. Daniel seems different today. Nervous but excited, his energy reminding me of when he was a boy, bursting to share good news. I don't press, letting him reveal whatever it is in his own time. Noah rushes in from the balcony, clutching the wooden train that has become his constant companion. Dad! Look what Abuela and I made! He holds up a miniature railroad crossing to complement the train, crafted from popsicle sticks and paint during our Saturday visits. That's awesome, buddy. Did you do the painting yourself? Noah nods proudly. Abuela showed me how to use thin coats so it doesn't get all gobby. Globby, Clara corrects automatically, but she's smiling. We settle into our familiar Sunday rhythm, me cooking, Clara setting the table, Noah chattering about school and his latest obsessions, Daniel helping where needed, but mostly just being present. This is our new normal, forged in the aftermath of what Clara calls the Great Financial Reckoning. Daniel and Amber sold the mansion 3 months ago, unable to maintain the payments even with the limited help I offered. They found a comfortable but modest house in a good school district, one they can actually afford on Daniel's restructured business income. My financial support is now transparent and limited, covering half of the children's educational expenses, a small business loan with clear terms, and occasional family expenses like the upcoming trip to Mexico I've planned for all of us, including Amber, if she chooses to come. Amber. The one piece of this puzzle that still doesn't quite fit. She and Daniel are still together, but barely. Their marriage strained to its breaking point by the lifestyle changes and the painful honesty that followed my withdrawal of support. She rarely joins our Sunday dinners, finding excuses to be elsewhere. Mom's at a spa day with her friends. Noah explains when I ask about her absence, his voice carefully neutral. At 10, he understands more than we give him credit for. She's not with friends, Clara says, rolling her eyes. She's with that guy from her yoga class again. Daniel stiffens. Clara, that's enough. What? We all know what's happening. Clara's bluntness has only sharpened in recent months, part of her determination to embrace honesty in all its forms. I intervene before the moment can sour. The food is ready. Let's eat. We gather around the small table on the balcony, the Seattle skyline providing a backdrop far more beautiful than any dining room could offer. I serve the chiles rellenos with rice and beans, the same meal Victor and I would share on special occasions when we could afford the ingredients. Conversation flows easily, centered mostly on the children. Noah's science project, Clara's college applications. She's a junior now, suddenly focused on her future, in a way she wasn't before. The family's financial reality check has motivated her in unexpected ways. I got my SAT scores back, she announces, trying to sound casual but unable to hide her pride. 1,480. Clara, that's incredible. Daniel's face lights up. Why didn't you tell me sooner? She shrugs. I just found out yesterday, and I wanted to tell everyone together. Her eyes meet mine briefly. Abuela's been helping me study. It's true. For months now, Clara has spent Saturday mornings at my table, textbooks spread out, determined to earn scholarships that will ease the financial burden on both her parents and me. Those scores will open doors, I tell her, but it's your hard work that got you there. Well, I have news too, Daniel says after we've properly celebrated Clara's achievement. I signed the lease on a new office space today. This is a surprise. Daniel has been working from home since giving up the expensive downtown office he could no longer afford. Where? I ask. The Miller Building on 4th. It's small, just 2 rooms, but it's a start. His smile grows. And I signed my first major client without using family connections or country club memberships. The pride in his voice is genuine, not the hollow bravado of before, but something earned, something real. That's wonderful, mijo. I reach across to squeeze his hand. Tell me about the client. As Daniel describes the sustainable technology company that's hired his newly focused consulting firm, I see the shadow of Victor in his animated gestures, in the way his eyes light up when discussing work he genuinely believes in. For years, Daniel chased status and the appearance of success. Now, forced to build something authentic, he seems more alive, more himself than he has since boyhood. After dinner, Clara and Noah clear the dishes, while Daniel and I move to the living room with coffee. There's another piece of news I can tell. He's fidgeting like he used to as a child when holding back a secret. Just say it, I tell him, smiling. Whatever it is. He takes a deep breath. Amber and I are getting a divorce. Though not entirely unexpected, the finality of the statement hangs in the air between us. I'm sorry, Daniel. He shakes his head. Don't be. It's been coming for a long time. Probably since before you. He gestures vaguely. Changed everything. The children know. Yes, we told them last week. Noah's taking it hard, but Clara... He laughed softly. Clara said, and I quote, "Finally." That sounds like my granddaughter, blunt to a fault. It's amicable, more or less. Daniel continues. Amber's not fighting for custody. She'll see the kids on weekends, but... He shrugs. She's already talking about moving back to her parents' place in California. I think of Amber, of the carefully constructed image she maintained, of the marriage built on false premises. I feel no triumph in its collapse, only sadness for the years wasted pretending to be something they weren't. "Are you all right?" I ask simply. Daniel considers this, turning the question over as he would a complex problem. "Not yet," he says finally. "But I will be. For the first time in maybe forever, I feel like I'm building something real, something that can last." His eyes, so like Victor's, meet mine. "I owe you an apology, Mom. A real one." "You've apologized already, Daniel. Many times over these past months. Not for everything. Not for the years I spent taking your support while treating you like you didn't matter. Not for being ashamed of where we came from, of your accent, of the sacrifices you made." His voice thickens. "Not for forgetting that everything I have, everything I am, began with you and Dad crossing the border with nothing but hope and grit." Tears well in my eyes, unexpected and unstoppable. This, finally, is the acknowledgement I've needed. Not groveling, not the resentful apologies of our early conversations after the reckoning, but genuine understanding. "I just want you to see me," I say softly. "I do now." He takes my hand. "I see you, Mom. I'm sorry it took losing everything to make that happen." Noah and Clara join us, Noah climbing onto the couch beside me, Clara perching on the arm of Daniel's chair. Together, surrounded by the family I built, I feel Victor's presence more strongly than I have in years. "What happens now?" Noah asks, the question echoing through the months since that devastating birthday party. "Now," I say, drawing him close, "we continue building something true, together." Daniel looks around the modest living room, at his children, at me. I like the sound of that. Later, after Daniel has taken the children home to the house that actually belongs to him, not to my bank account, I stand on my balcony in the cool evening air. 6 months ago, I drove away from a mansion filled with hollow wealth, my dignity in tatters, but my resolve hardened. The path since has not been easy. There have been tears and accusations, painful truths, and difficult adjustments. The family that emerged is smaller than before, missing Amber and her picture-perfect facade. But what remains is solid, rooted in something money can't buy. Respect, freely given. Love, honestly expressed. Family, truly seen. I think of Victor, of what he would say about this new chapter. I imagine him beside me on the balcony, his arm around my shoulders. "You did it, Mari," he would say. "You stood your ground. You demanded your worth." Was it worth the cost? I ask the empty air beside me. And though no voice answers, I know what Victor would say. That dignity has no price. That respect cannot be purchased. That being truly seen is worth more than all the mansions and luxury cars in the world. I turn back to my small, cherished home, to the dishes waiting to be washed, to the photos of my family, past and present, displayed on simple shelves. This is wealth that cannot be calculated in dollars. This is success that cannot be displayed at country clubs. This is enough. This is everything.